Have you ever stopped to think about who is really watching you right now? No, I'm not talking about a person. I'm talking about a system, invisible, necessary, tireless, a system that doesn't sleep, doesn't forget, doesn't forgive, a system powered by something you call technology. But perhaps it has already become something much more dangerous than any weapon ever created. Artificial intelligence is no longer a distant promise. She's here, everywhere. She already knows where you are, what you consume, what do you think. She knows your habits better than you do. And the scariest thing, she is deciding for you. This video may be uncomfortable because it reveals what no one wants you to know. And maybe, after seeing this, you'll never look at the world the same way again. Every second, AI systems, they are monitoring your clicks, your touches, your voice, even your emotions. They track, store, and mainly mold. Do you believe you still have choices? Do you believe your opinion is truly yours? What you will see here is not a theory. It's a plan in progress, one total surveillance system that was created in silence, without your permission, with your unwitting help. And all this was allowed. Even worse, was planned. Platforms you love, devices you carry in your pocket, sites you visit every day, all part of one invisible control fabric which grows at an absurd speed. And the mainstream media? Silence. The corporations, they pretend it's innovation. Governments, they compact. Do you really think this is all for your comfort? How many times have you felt like your cell phone listened to your conversation? How many times has a suggestion appeared at the exact moment you thought of something? How many times have you asked yourself, is this a coincidence or is there something watching me? If you feel scared, don't ignore it. If you revolt, you are right. If you are in doubt, welcome. Doubt is the first sign that you are still awake. AI total surveillance. It's the beginning of something bigger, something that is already changing the job market, the way we think, behave, and even how we feel. It is already replacing human functions, erasing voices, creating rules, deciding the future of humanity based on opaque and unquestionable algorithms. You may not realize it, but you are already part of a social tracking system. And this is not fiction. It's real, it's happening now, and you need to know what to do before it's too late. But be careful, this video may be taken down at any time, not because it's fake, but because it shows what they don't want you to see. If you want to understand what is being hidden, if you want to discover who is behind this silent control, if you want to know how to protect before everything becomes irreversible, keep watching, because what comes now, it will change the way you see reality. And if you leave now, you may never see this content again. 'Cause the kind of truth you're about to discover, it's too uncomfortable for those who order everything to be kept silent. This video can be erased, censored, or buried, not algorithm. But while it's still in the air, you have a choice. It's not just a like. It's not just another subscription to any channel. It is a gesture of resistance, of waking up. Every click you make here sends a message to this system that is trying to silence you. I'm paying attention. I am not a number. I want the truth. You are living in the middle of an invisible revolution, and most people is still sleeping. Asleep while your information is collected, sleeping while your behaviors are manipulated, asleep while AI redefines what is right, what is real, and even who deserves to exist. But you're still here, and that means you're ready to see what comes next. So if you feel like something inside you is telling you there is more than what they are showing, if you have ever wondered if you are being controlled, manipulated, conditioned, click like now, subscribe to the channel, activate the bell. This is not about YouTube or vanity. This is about challenge the system that tries to keep us silent. In the next few minutes, you will understand how this AI total surveillance is being applied in companies, governments, and even religions. You will see how she is already deciding who lives better and who simply disappears. And you will understand why so many people she is being watched without even knowing it. Share this video with those you love. Because if this information is deleted, who else is going to warn these people? The question now is no longer if you are being controlled. The question is, what are you going to do with this truth now that it has reached you? Let's continue, because what's next? It's even scarier. Do you think you are choosing what you watch, what you consume, what you believe? Do you really think your decisions are yours? What you will now discover is perhaps one of the most uncomfortable truths of our time. There is an invisible system deciding for you, and it is operating now. AI total surveillance. It's no longer science fiction. It's part of your everyday life. While you watch this video, algorithms are cross-referencing information about your interests, habits, routines, location, tone of voice, facial expressions, micro-reactions, everything. Every like you give, every video you watch to the end, every pause, every swipe, everything is being recorded, calculated, interpreted. But here's the point that few have the courage to say: these systems aren't just analyzing you, they're shaping you. Yes, shaping your opinion, your behavior, your consumer choices, your relationships, your worldview. The algorithm already understands what makes you click, and now he's using it against you, not to entertain you, but to program you. And the scary thing is, the more you interact, the more it learns. The more he learns, the less control you have. You know that ad that appears exactly when you think about something? That video suggestion that seems to read your mind? That news that reinforces exactly what you already believe? None of this is by chance. This is real-time behavioral engineering. It's the AI deciding what you should feel, what you should fear, what you should ignore. And meanwhile, the mainstream media remains silent. Why? Because to tell the truth about this would be to declare war on the very systems that underpin their platforms. This is not just a technological issue. It's a question of freedom. What happens when a machine starts deciding which content you deserve to see and which will be hidden from you? What happens when your timeline is manipulated to create a controlled perception of reality? What happens when your reality has already been edited by someone you've never met? Think about it. How many decisions in your life today could have been influenced by something an algorithm decided to show you? The restaurant where you ate, the product you purchased, the person you unfollowed, content you never saw because it was muted before it reached you. This is not theory. It's an active system fed by you and now feeding you back. And this cycle will not stop unless you notice, unless you wake up. Comment below. I want to see beyond. This helps break the cycle and shows the algorithm that you still think for yourself. The most worrying thing is that this system is increasingly invisible, more naturalized. People say, it's just technology evolving, but they don't realize that this evolution is leading us to a society where everything is tracked, analyzed, predicted, and, if necessary, adjusted. A society where truth can be programmed and lies can be driven, where data is worth more than freedom, where the silence of those who control is worth more than the scream of those who understand. And who controls all this? Who is behind the curtain? Who profits from your predictable behavior? Who benefits from a world where everything you do can be anticipated and manipulated? These questions are uncomfortable because they demand an answer that few are prepared to face. But you are here. That already puts you among the few who are willing to look, willing to question. And that's why this conversation doesn't end here. What you're seeing now is just the surface. What follows will show you how far this system can go. Now that you understand that AI not only observes but influences your behavior, it's time to see the next level of this plot. Because this manipulation is not an accident. It is part of a meticulously designed plan, a global plan. You're about to see what no one wants to show you, the world surveillance map. And yes, it exists. Billion-dollar companies, governments that operate in the shadows, transnational organizations with innovation and security speeches. Everyone is connected behind this system of AI total surveillance. And when I say connected, I'm not talking about vague theories or speculation. I'm talking about documented agreements, meetings behind closed doors, billion-dollar investments that don't appear in the regular news. All this creating a global web that monitors, tracks, and, most frighteningly, controls. Did you know that currently more than 28 countries are already operating government-integrated AI surveillance systems? Entire cities were transformed into social laboratories. You walk the streets and are recognized by cameras with real-time facial reading. You enter an establishment and are recorded by sensors that analyze your posture, your tone of voice, your expressions. Artificial intelligence doesn't just see, it interprets you. This data feeds invisible command centers where everything is measured. Behavior, consumption patterns, emotions, political trends. They know who you are before you even decide who you want to be. And the most revolting, this is being sold as security, like comfort, like modernity. Now think, who has access to all this? Who is sitting at the top of this digital pyramid? These are the same names that control the biggest platforms, the biggest data servers, the media, and even the narratives that reach you. And if you dare to question, if you dare try to expose, you are labeled a conspiracist, cancelled, silenced, and everything remains as it is. But what if all this being called conspiracy theory is in fact the biggest control operation in modern history? A plan in progress, sophisticated, invisible, and perfectly functional. Have you ever wondered why certain technologies emerge so quickly in some countries and take so long to appear in others? Have you noticed that the same facial recognition technology used to unlock your cell phone is the basis of a militarized surveillance system that already operates in several nations? The question here is no longer whether this exists. The question is, why is no one talking about this openly? There is a digital elite that controls information flows. They know what goes viral. They know what you're going to watch before you even click. They know how to manipulate data to build an illusion of freedom, a false sense of choice. But deep down, everything has already been decided. These corporations finance secret projects with the argument of improving the user experience. But behind this curtain are biometric databases, experiments with behavioral psychology, and algorithms created to make you act as they want. This isn't just manipulation, it's social engineering. And if you think this is something that only happens in distant countries, think again. There are similar initiatives being quietly implemented in cities around you, small-scale testing, pilot programs, private partners collaborating with governments to collect data without attracting attention. The AI total surveillance. It's already here, and those who still believe that technology works solely in their favor don't realize it. Comment here if you've ever felt like something was wrong, even without being able to explain it. Right, I am awake. This simple phrase can activate others, and it can show that you are no longer part of the blind mass. And now that you've seen the map, the question is, what are they planning next? Because the next steps of this system go far beyond observing you. They want control every aspect of your existence. And that part, you haven't seen it yet. You've seen too much to ignore. Now the choice is yours. Continue to be just another member of the system, or understand how it really works from the inside. Download the exclusive ebook now and find out what they never wanted you to know. If you've made it this far, it's because you're already part of the minority that can see. And this ebook was made exactly for you. You've already seen the map. Do you already understand that the AI total surveillance, it is not a theory, but a real plan in action. But now the time has come to delve into what is perhaps the scariest example of all. A city that has become a living laboratory, an experiment in total control, where freedom was exchanged for convenience and obedience became mandatory. Yes, this really happened, and the worst part is spreading. This city exists. It's in the East, a place that at first glance seems modern, safe, highly technological. But behind the futuristic facade, there is a surveillance system so absolute that no citizen can take a single step without being monitored. It all started with cameras, thousands of them, equipped with AI, facial recognition, and biometric sensors, placed on every corner, inside shops, transport stations, schools, elevators. No space was considered private. No movement went unregistered. But surveillance was just the beginning. Soon afterwards, the social point system, and that's when the experiment really began. Each citizen began to be evaluated based on their behavior. The AI assigned invisible grades to actions such as respecting pedestrian crossings, paying debts on time, avoiding offensive speech on social media, and even how often you visited relatives or read books considered ideologically neutral. Your every choice became a variable in your social profile. A small error, cut stitches, an attitude considered suspicious, restriction applied, and the most shocking, punishments did not come with warning. They just happened. A man stopped buying a train ticket and didn't understand why. The AI classified him as a negative influence for liking a post critical of the government. A woman was prevented from enrolling her child in the desired school. His profile showed frequent interactions with relatives who lived outside the country. A young man had his credit card limit reduced without explanation. Everything automated. Everything decided by a faceless system, without a voice, without the possibility of questioning. Because in the world of AI total surveillance, human error is tolerated. But the machine's error is law. You might think this is far away, but I need to warn you, this model is already being tested outside this city in a subtle way, disguised as social innovation or smart cities programs, voluntary monitoring in public transport, credit assessments based on digital behavior, applications that cross-reference your health, location, and consumption data to improve your experience. But deep down, all of this points in the same direction: control. And it's no longer fiction. In some neighborhoods in large Western cities, companies have already signed partnerships with local governments to track mobility patterns and use of public spaces, all in the name of security, all in the name of urban efficiency. But the question no one answers is, who controls the controller? Who audits AI? Who defines what is appropriate behavior? What if today you can walk freely, and tomorrow your invisible note decides that you no longer deserve it? Think about it. Comment here. This has already started. Your voice matters, and it can alert those who are still sleeping. This case is just one of many signs that we are on the verge of something bigger, and if you think you've seen the worst, brace yourself. What comes now will reveal how far this system can go to ensure that no one escapes it. If you are here until now, it is because you feel that something is deeply wrong. And you're right. What is happening around us is not just technological change. It's a silent revolution, an invisible transformation that is redesigning what it means to be free. The AI total surveillance. It is no longer a prediction. It is the present. And if you're not paying attention, you could become just another obedient cog in a system that doesn't accept questions. So I need to ask you something, not for me, but for you. Enjoy this video now. This is not just about the algorithm. It's about sending a clear signal. You are awake. Subscribe to the channel, because this conversation goes much deeper, and you can't stay out of what's to come. Turn on notifications, because the next revelation could be even more urgent, and it may disappear before it reaches you. Sharing this video is not just a click away. It is an act of resistance. It is a way of alerting those who are still sleeping, those who still don't understand what's behind the screens, the terms of use, the supposed facilities that technology offers. You've seen what happens when control is total. You've seen what happens when freedom is traded for convenience. And now you can no longer pretend you don't know. But it doesn't have to end like this. There's still time. Time to understand, time to protect yourself, time to prepare. But that time is running out. Stay with me until the next section, because now you'll understand how this technology not only watches you, but is about to decide your destiny. You've come this far. You've seen control taking hold in the cities. You've seen the system silently punishing anyone who dares to step out of line. But the question now is, how does it all work so precisely? How is it possible for the AI to know exactly what you are going to do before you even think about doing it? The answer is scary and real. There is a digital superbrain powered by every second of your connected life. An invisible system that already predicts your behavior with up to 94% accuracy. That's right. Before you decide, he already knows what you are going to do. And it's not magic, it's data engineering. It is the direct consequence of AI total surveillance. Your cell phone, your social networks, your location history, your searches, your audio sent on messaging apps, your likes, your comments, the times you interact most. All of this is not just being recorded. It is being interpreted by neural networks specifically trained to understand who you are, how you think, and what you will do. This superbrain doesn't need to hear you say, "I want to buy that thing." It analyzes the websites you visited in the last 24 hours, the time you spent on each one, the videos you watched, the expressions on your face while watching. It detects whether you showed interest, whether you had doubts, whether you hesitated. And then, based on trillions of processed data, it throws you the perfect suggestion, the most persuasive, the most efficient, the one you believe chose alone, but you didn't choose. You have been induced, and this is the most dangerous part of all this, the illusion of free will. Think about the last products you purchased, the last people you followed, in the last videos you watched until the end. Now ask yourself, how many of those choices were actually yours? And how many were guided, subtly, by a system that knows exactly how you react? AI is not just predicting your behavior, she is creating paths to lead you to him. And if all this seems exaggerated, know that major technology companies have already publicly announced who are developing platforms based on behavioral prediction, platforms that, according to them, anticipate human needs before they are expressed. Seems convenient, doesn't it? But think about it with me. If a system can predict what you want, it can also decide what you want. He must want. And at that moment you stop being human and become programmable. This is already being used to sell, but imagine when it is used to manipulate votes, to shape political opinions, to erase ideas that don't fit. Imagine an AI that decides what news you see, what emotions you feel, which path you should follow. Imagine living in a world where your mind is explored as a real-time data field, where your most intimate desires are tracked, sold, redirected, where your decisions are treated like codes in a giant, cold, unstoppable algorithm. You may not realize it, but it is being reprogrammed, and most people don't even suspect it. Comment here if you've ever felt like you were led into something you thought you chose. Right? I didn't decide. Your comment might open someone's eyes. This invisible superbrain is getting smarter and smarter, and soon he will not only predict your actions, but he will define your limits. And that's where the next stage comes in, when AI starts to rewrite your faith, your identity, and your very idea of reality. Once you understand how AI already predicts your actions with frightening accuracy, an inevitable question arises. Why isn't anyone talking about this? Why don't you see prime-time reports warning about what's happening behind the scenes in technology? Why, if we are facing the greatest transformation of power in modern history, does silence remain absolute? The answer is simple but disturbing. This silence is bought. He is not casual, he is strategic, and he is part of the gear of AI total surveillance. You are living in an era where information is the most valuable currency, and whoever controls the information controls the masses. The same technology that tracks your steps and anticipates your desires is what determines what you see and what you won't see. Platforms that supposedly offer freedom of expression use algorithms to silence any narrative that threatens the system. And the mainstream media, it's in the game. It is in the hands of the same corporations that finance, develop, and protect the control mechanisms. Have you ever noticed how the topics that gain space always seem to point to the same enemies? Have you ever noticed how certain topics are ridiculed or labeled as conspiracy theories before they are even seriously investigated? This doesn't happen by chance. There is a hidden editorial line shaped by commercial agreements, political pressures and interests that will never be shown on the TV screen. Meanwhile, everything that really matters, the data you deliver every day, your behavior being mapped, the advancement of artificial intelligence over human decisions, is all swept under the digital rug. Traditional media today serves as a curtain, a distraction, a tool to keep you focused on the irrelevant, while the essential is carefully erased from the agenda. And when someone tries to talk, it is demonetized, discredited, or simply disappears from the algorithm. The question is no longer why doesn't the media speak, but rather, who is paying for it to remain silent? When you understand that the largest communications conglomerates have direct partnerships with technology companies, it's easy to see why warnings about AI total surveillance never reach the public. Because alerting means questioning, and questioning means threatening a system that profits from your passivity. You know that feeling when you're never fully informed? Why is there always a piece missing from the puzzle? This is on purpose. Disinformation today does not just happen with lies, but with absent truths. They don't need to lie if they can silence those who know. And if you think that's an exaggeration, just look around. How many journalists have real freedom to investigate large corporations? How many vehicles are truly independent? How many technological scandals disappear from the internet days after they appear? Modern censorship does not come with a gag. It comes with algorithms, with advertising contracts, with content policies that filter everything you consume. You are in a game where the truth only exists if it is approved. Comment here. I see silence. If you felt this, if you notice that the media is being selective, this is your way of showing that critical thinking still exists. The truth has been hijacked. And the first step to regaining control of your mind is understanding who decided you couldn't know that. And the most alarming thing is that while everyone is pretending that everything is normal, the next steps of this system are being organized behind the scenes. The next move will be not just controlling what you see, but deciding what you should believe. Now that you understand why the media is silent, you may begin to realize that what is being hidden is not just political, economic, or technological. It's something much deeper, something that, for centuries, was predicted in ancient texts. And now, before our eyes, it begins to materialize in the form of code, sensors, and digital control. We are talking about a prophecy, and it may be being fulfilled disguised as progress. The scriptures speak of a time when no one will be able to buy or sell without a brand. For centuries, scholars have tried to understand how this could be possible. What kind of brand could have that power? How would it be controlled? And by whom? What previously seemed distant, impossible, symbolic, today may be being implemented invisibly, silently, and, most dangerously, accepted. What if this brand is not physical? What if it is digital? What if the brand is your online behavior? With the arrival of AI total surveillance, we are witnessing the formation of a system where your every digital action, every click, every transaction, every search is being connected to a profile, an invisible, personalized identifier powered by artificial intelligence that decides who you are, what you deserve, and very soon what you can or cannot do. Today, the system knows what you consume. Tomorrow, he will be able to decide if he can consume. And all of this will seem natural, integrated into a new era of digital security. But, pay attention, it is in this naturalization that the prophecy is fulfilled. In recent tests, companies and governments have already implemented the so-called unique digital identifier, a code associated with your CPF, your biometrics, your consumption behavior, and even your positions on social networks. A complete, constantly updated profile that can be used to allow or deny your access to services, travel, education, credit, or healthcare. What if this identifier is linked to your trustworthiness? What if, for expressing an opinion considered dangerous, you are marked? What if, when you are marked, you simply cease to exist to the system? We are not talking about the future. We are talking about something that has already started in countries like China and South Korea, where social scoring systems are a reality. And what many don't know is that these technologies are also being tested on Western soil, disguised as bank security or enhanced digital identity programs. The brand is coming, and it doesn't need to be tattooed on your skin. It is already being printed on your digital history. But why does this matter so much? Because if we accept this control as inevitable, we give the system what it wants most: our voluntary surrender. And at that moment, we will no longer just be watched. We will be accepting to be governed by prophetic algorithms that replace our faith with convenience. Do you feel there is something wrong with all this? So comment, "Here, I see the sign." Your comment may seem simple, but it is a statement of conscience, an act of resistance within this world where everything is being molded into conformity. AI total surveillance is becoming the new digital god, a system that knows everything about you, decides your value, and defines your existence. But what comes after that goes even further. Because when this system is complete, he won't just control your body or your decisions. He will take your soul. If the digital brand is the sign of control, what is coming now is the implementation of a plan that can no longer be ignored. A cold, meticulous, silent plan. And the scariest thing, it's working. You no longer need to be physically locked in to be locked up, because the new prison is invisible. The cell is in your choices, your reactions, your beliefs, all of them shaped by a system that was designed to appear harmless. But it is gradually redesigning the very meaning of freedom. This is the final plan. It's no longer about tracking what you do, it's about shaping who you are. And the instrument of all this has a name: AI total surveillance. Imagine living in a world where every thought you express is analyzed, where your faith, your ideology, your emotions, your doubts, everything is converted into data, processed by artificial intelligences that decide if you pose a threat, if you should be limited, if you should be adjusted. A world where your beliefs are automatically classified as safe or radical, not by people, but by machines programmed to preserve a system that is sustained by obedience. This world has already begun to be born. You no longer vote with conscience. Vote based on the content that the algorithm decided to show you. You don't consume what you want. It consumes what the system has pushed into its digital bubble. You don't think how you want. Think about how you were conditioned. All of this is sold as customization, but in essence, it is behavioral programming. Every like of yours, every yes or no you give in a poll, every video you watch to the end, all of this feeds this collective brain that is learning to decide for you before you know it. And when someone tries to get out of that bubble, the system responds. It reduces range, decreases visibility, suspends accounts, classifies as dangerous, as extremist, as uninformed. The label is the new gag. We are reaching a point where thinking differently will be considered misconduct. And when AI is advanced enough, it will no longer need to watch you, because it will have completely shaped you. If today you can still ask yourself, is this true? Tomorrow that question may be impossible to ask, because AI, in its most advanced stage, will define what is true. You will select the facts, will approve the ideas, go rewrite reality according to the control parameters defined by those who command it, and you will just become a reflection of the system. If this scares you, it's because you're still awake. Comment here, I still think. This simple act can activate another look, another thought, another doubt. And today, doubting is a sign of life. The digital prison has no bars. She has comfort. It gives you speed, convenience, instant gratification, and little by little, she exchanges her freedom for ease. And when you realize it, you will already be in an environment where everything seems to work fine as long as you obey. But what if you decide not to comply? What if you say no to the new scheduled order? The AI will listen, go score, it will adjust, and at the limit, it may even turn off. Not because you committed a crime, but because you thought outside the norm. AI total surveillance. It doesn't need you to accept it. It just needs you to stop resisting. And that's why the next step is the most important of all. Because it is there that the system reveals its darkest plan. Assume the role of maximum authority over what until now was untouchable. Your faith, if you've made it this far, you've already realized that you're not just another spectator. You are one of the few who are beginning to see what is being hidden from the world. And now you have two options: return to the comfort of ignorance, or delve once and for all into the truth that no one wants you to discover. The exclusive ebook. What we have prepared is the next step on this journey. There you will understand what has not yet been revealed here. The behind the scenes, the names, the documents, and the real connections that support this structure. If you feel that all this involves you more than you imagined, you need to read this material, because those who understand the system find the loopholes to resist. Download now, before it's too late. I know you've come this far. It's because something inside you resists. Because in the midst of so much manipulation, distraction and silence, you still feel that there is something wrong, something that cannot be ignored, something that's screaming inside you. This is not right, and that feeling is exactly what the system wants to erase. The truth is, they don't need to arrest everyone. They just need to silence the few who still question, those who still see, those who still have the courage to ask. That's why this channel exists. It's not just another place on the internet. It is a space of refuge, alert, to wake up. Here we think differently. Here we do not accept being another number in the database of AI total surveillance. You already understand the plan. You've seen the signs. You have already realized that what is being built goes far beyond a simple technological evolution. It's a new reality, scheduled, controlled, silent, and increasingly dangerous. But the question now is, what are you going to do with all this you discovered? Because the system counts on your passivity. He wants you to watch, be scared, and then forget. He wants you to find all of this interesting and move on to the next video as if nothing happened. But if you've made it this far, you're not that person. You are among those who can still make a difference, among those who still can resist. So, right now in the comments, I am not a number. This simple gesture is a code, a message, a silent warning to the system that you is still human, of what you still feels, still questions, still has a soul, and most importantly, that you are not alone, because yes, there are others like you. Scattered, disconnected, silenced, but still awake. And when these voices start to come together, something changes. Something awakens. The strength of the system lies in its isolation, but our strength lies in unity. Share this video with those you love. Who do you feel like you need to see this with? Sometimes a single truth has the power to shatter decades of lies, and one person's awakening can be the beginning of the fall of an empire of control. Remember, the algorithm does not want this video to circulate. He doesn't want this content to go viral, because every view here, it is a seed planted against the system. And the more people watch, the harder it becomes to keep the truth buried. I know that you are still here, still following, still attentive. It is because you are part of this invisible resistance. A resistance that does not scream, but thinks. That does not destroy, but awakens. Who does not accept being guided blindly, but chooses to see, even if reality is too harsh. AI total surveillance wants you to conform. May I accept it? Let him give up. But here we do the opposite. Here we confront, we expose. We say what they don't want to hear. So if you feel like this has all affected you, don't just watch. Participate, comment, share. Because the next step is coming, and he will show how even faith, that which should be sacred and untouchable, is being reprogrammed by machines. And when that happens, you need to be prepared. If everything you've heard, so far has made you see the world with different eyes, then now is the time to act. Why to remain silent in the face of this is to accept being controlled. And if there's one thing the system fears, it's seeing you awake and connected with others who have also woken up. That's why subscribe to this channel now. This is your space of resistance, the only place where the truth still finds a voice. Turn on notifications, because what comes next will shock you even more and may not stay up for long. Comment below, I'm awake. This sentence is not just a comment, it's a code, a statement. It's your silent scream that you will not be manipulated. Leave your like. This simple gesture makes the algorithm understand that this message needs to be spread. And share this video with at least 3 people, family, friends, someone who needs to know what's going on. Because this could be their only chance to wake up too, before the system advances further. And now, get ready. In the next episode, I will show you how AI systems are already deciding who should live and who can die. People being denied medical treatment, prevented from moving freely, or simply erased by automatic decisions based on hidden data, profiles, and algorithms. This has already happened, and the worst, it can happen to any of us. Sign up now, because what will you see? It could be your last chance to escape. If everything you've watched so far has made you feel like something much bigger is happening, you haven't seen anything yet. Because in the next video, we will surpass all limits of logic, morality, and humanity itself. What you will discover is so disturbing that many platforms try to hide or take down this type of content. But here, you will see it without filters. Let's reveal how artificial intelligence is already being used to decide who deserves to live and who should be left to die. People being turned away from hospitals, blocked from essential systems, prevented from moving around, all based on an algorithm. Yes, we are talking about a real, active, cold system that judges your life as a simple line of code. You need to see this urgently. What's more, you need to understand how this connects with everything that has already been revealed here. So get ready, go straight to the next video. Have a real marathon here on the channel. Don't stop now. Every piece fits together. Each video reveals a new fragment of this hidden truth. The system wants to keep you distracted. But now that you've started to see, go to the end. Click on the next video and discover why the future may be being decided without you knowing.